Hi everybody, it's me, Charles Norman from Sports Solutions LLC, and today we're going to talk about college versus trade schools. And so we're getting this quite a bit from the kids, and I'm just giving you kind of my opinion. That's what I do on these mornings when I come out and do these videos. So do whatever you want to do. I'm just going to give you some of the things that we've learned over the last 4 years since we started adding trade schools to our software. And the code that I give you guys in these videos, that's down below. I give you a code, I give you instructions, and I have a little brief video showing you what AthleticSOS is. That code doesn't allow you to do the searches for the trade schools. So that is the one that we give to the schools and some of the nonprofits we work with, because they have counselors there that can sit down and talk with you about your decision making and what you're trying to do and give you a little bit more feedback. But I get this because, like I was telling you guys a couple of weeks ago, we're starting to go out to some of the high schools, and these are some of the questions we're asking. And I also earlier in the video kind of mentioned this just in passing, and I like to clear up things because some people have seen my videos and they go, well, you said, and so I want to make sure that I'm perfectly clear on what I am advocating for. Now, in AthleticSOS, and what AthleticSOS is a software technology that we let you use at no cost to you right now. And we're not going to charge you later if you get in now. So I'm not saying that, hey, you're going to get in there and then we're going to start charging you later after you get a taste of it. We're not those people. But what it does is you put in your academic information, your test scores, ACT, SAT test scores, the sports you play, the level you can participate, and we will show you a list of schools that you academically qualify to attend that have your sport at the level you can participate. And now that you have this big list, you can start reaching out to those schools, let them know where you are. You can get your high school coach or your travel club coach, somebody else to reach out on your behalf, talk about your what they believe about you, and it kind of gives you a head start. And our whole thing in AthleticSOS is we want you to think ahead and be ahead of your competition because you used our software. And we're really big on positioning yourself so that when you go to these combines and showcases and viewing tournaments, that those coaches are coming out to see you, not you out there working your butt off, hoping to get discovered by someone and then moving forward that way. We think that's backwards. We want to go the other way. We want those schools there to see you. You've already been vetted. They already know you want to attend their school, and you've already had someone kind of give you a vouch. You've been social proof by your your high school or your travel club coach. So that's the idea behind AthleticSOS. And so a few years ago, back in 2019, I believe it was, we added trade schools because we're at the high schools, and we wanted to put something together so that every single student athlete at a high school could use our software. And it wasn't just for the kids trying to get athletic scholarships. It was the kids trying to move on anyway. You're going to do something when you leave high school. Hopefully, you're either going to go to work, you're going to go to the military, you're going to go to trade school, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a job. You're going to do something when you leave. You can't just float through life, right? At least that's what we're hoping. You don't just try to float through life. And so if that's the case, why not add trade schools in for the kids that didn't have the ability to play at the next level or didn't want to move on to continue school in that way. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is the kid that wants to continue playing, that you have the ability. If you have the ability to play at the collegiate level, I think you should continue playing. That is just my honest belief there. Here's the thing that if you guys have seen any of my videos, you know what I am more than anything is anti-debt, especially bad debt. And college is just ridiculously expensive. So if you're not going to take this serious, you need to rethink what you're going to do. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go to college, especially if you play one of the head count sports and you're a D1 level athlete. You have to go, right? For men, it's basketball, football. For girls, it's volleyball, basketball, tennis, and gymnastics. Those, you're going to get a full ride if you can go D1. So for you not to even at least look into that, at least try it and see where it takes you, I don't know why you would not at least do that, because if you have the grades to get in and play at a 4-year school, that means you know how to do the schoolwork. And if you want to continue playing, you should go and move forward that way. Now, for the equivalency sports, and that's everything other than the sports that I mentioned earlier, you're only going to get a partial scholarship. So you need to look into, and that's why our software is so great, because we're going to tell you how much it costs to go to that school. And so you're going to look at what are they giving me as far as money, and then what are they going to, as far as scholarship, athletic scholarship money, and then what does it cost to go to the school, and then I got to bridge that gap. Can I afford to bridge that gap? And I don't want you guys to get in too much debt. Debt will hurt you as a young person, right? If you're already behind the 8 ball and you cannot get out of student loan debt, and you guys need to understand that. I don't care what anyone's telling you. No one's coming to the rescue for that. And one of the reasons that is that because the government knows that you're locked in. That's why they passed that law. So they know that money's coming into their coffers for the next, probably for you guys, unless you just really concentrate and pay it off really fast, they're going to be getting that money for decades, right? And so they're not going to get rid of that. So that's just my opinion. So anything could happen. But in my opinion, they're not going to get rid of student loan debt, because it's the one thing you can't bankruptcy your way out of it. There are a few little ways to get out of it, but they're very, very specific, and they're very negative on your life. Your life will have to be in a negative place for that to work. So getting too heavy into debt sets you back behind the 8 ball a little bit. You want to buy a house. You want to do this. You want to do that. That payment is always just sitting there, right? It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there month after month after month. And I think it's starting to hit people. And then when you get later on and you're ready to retire, it also is debt that you've been paying off all those years that could have went to some investments. You could have opened your own business. You could have done all these other things with that money, but you were making these payments. You were making these payments, and you've long passed a lot of times the value of what that degree gave you versus what you've paid out over the year with interest and payments. And a lot of people defer payments and they do all this other stuff. If you're going to knock it out really quickly, then you know what, may be worth it. So if you want to keep playing, then trade school, I don't think is the right way to go. I do know a person that was at one of our things, and they were thinking, I'm going to go to trade school and then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to go play. One of the problems with that, if you're an athlete, is that you're going to lose your skill, and your ability to play at that level may be diminished. And you may not be as attractive to the colleges as you would have been if you would have just gone the straight to college, right? Because there's kids coming behind you while you're going to trade school. So, and then here's the biggest thing that I want you guys to get from this video, if nothing else. Going to trade school is not as easy as everybody thinks it is. I know some people want to go. I know we have some kids that want to go and become a welder, or they want to become an AVAC repair person or installation person, or they want to go in and they want to take some technical stuff, right? They want to go in the computer field and those kind of areas. And that's okay. I mean, I understand you want to do that. But if I were you, and I'm going to compare this to JCs now, junior colleges and community colleges, against trade schools. And to me, because I'm a debt person, I do not like debt. The JC just seems like the better deal. JCs have certification programs that you can go into. They also have the opportunity, if you want to continue playing, you can continue playing. You can go and take the minimum amount of units. I think it's 12 units. It might be more or less, but check in your area. But whatever it takes, you can still go and play, and you can get your basic education, right? You get your general ed stuff done, and you can get your AA, and then you can still go to trade school. But you could try to check with your junior college, your community college, and find out, get a list of what they offer as far as the trades, and then look at what it costs to go to an actual trade school. And I'm going to guarantee you that JC is going to be a better deal for you. Now, what I get from a lot of kids is, I just don't want to go into another class. I don't want to take any more history. I don't want to take any more social classes. I don't want to take any more English classes. I don't want to. That is a life choice. And to me, it's a little bit of laziness on the part. And I'm going to make a pitch for not calling you lazy, but giving you a pitch for why you might want to go the other way. Even though the trade school seems easier, trade schools are very, very difficult, because you're compressing a whole lot of education in a smaller footprint. Right? You're going probably every day, or at least 4 out of 5 days, because what they're really doing is compressing things. And you are staying within a certain discipline, right? If you want to learn about computer repair or electronics or something like that, or you want to learn how to weld and all that stuff, that's a lot of math included in that. And you got to get through that part to get to the part where you're actually doing the work. So it's not as easy going to a trade school as you think it is. And if you get halfway through that, you've already taken the loan out, and that school already has the money, and you flunk out of trade school, now what are you going to do, right? You still owe that money, and you didn't finish the program, and that happens a lot more than you guys think it is. Now, they give you a lot of chances because they're not trying to necessarily take your money from you, but you still got to learn this stuff. So if you don't have the basics down from high school, that you didn't pay attention in class, or you got behind and you acted up a little bit and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, or if you just think it's a shortcut, it's tough. Trade schools, especially accredited trade schools, aren't just a walk in the park. and then you're going to go out and do whatever you want to do. You got to learn. You got to study. So it's still going to be studying happening anyway. So if you are behind, if you go to a community college, maybe you can take some of the basic or remedial type classes and at least get the units in. Maybe you get a chance to keep playing if that's something you want to do. And you can look into, hey, do you guys offer these vocational things, these trades? And if they do, maybe you can go to the JC as a regular student, get your AA out of that, and then maybe on a Saturday or a weekend or one night a week or whatever it is, you can go and take that vocation too because you're already enrolled in the school. So these are some of the things I want you guys to start thinking past just the basic, how do I shortcut my way through life, right? What you want to do is say, how do I set myself up so that as I move forward, I'm in the best position to succeed overall. Here's the other thing I was going to say about the trade school situation. If you go into a trade, and I see this all the time, you go into a trade and it's a heavy lifting trade, right? You're doing air conditioning repair or HVAC, whatever it is. And now imagine yourself at 47, 57 doing this job. Are you going to be physically in position to do this? Because your body will break down over time. And so unless you're in a supervisory role, then you're going to be in bad shape at some point in your life. But if you went and got your AA even, or if you were, even better, if you went and did a 4-year thing, you will be able to be the supervisor. If you're going to go work for someone else anyway, you're going to be a supervisor at that point, and you'll be pointing out and you'll be teaching and you'll be in a position where you physically, yeah, you're probably going to have to chip in a little bit, but it won't be your main duty. Your main duty will be to logistics and making sure everything's taken care of and understanding and writing reports and things like that. That's what you learn in school. You learn how to write in a concise way, to communicate, to your math skills will be a little bit better. And yes, you may not learn the cutting edge stuff at a JC, and maybe you would get that at a trade school. I get that, but you can always go back later on. If that's something you want to do and you want to learn something, there is always the next level. That's one of the things I tell everybody about community colleges. Yes, they have a basic level, but you can go back later on and take something a little more intense, a next level up. It's not one and done from there. So am I knocking trade schools? Now that's the thing everybody talks about. I'm not knocking them. But here's where I see a lot of people get in trouble. They'll go and they'll take one of those 6 to 8 month trade school courses, and it costs an arm and a leg to me for what you're going to get salary wise going into that field. And I see this a lot with the nursing. I see it a lot with what is the dental assistant. I see it with there's a bunch of little things that you can go and take, and you can get out in 6 to 8 months and you're done, and you just paid all of this money, and then you go get the job and you're not making that much money, and you don't have the skill set. If you wanted to move up in that level to get to where you can make more money in that field, you got to go back to school. You got to go back to college. And so sometimes people are in situations, I get it, that your situation is, I got to get out of this house, or I got to go do something else. Well, try to look through it through a different lens. Maybe you can get somebody that's a roommate. Maybe you go to a JC and get a job, and that you're working on, but you're working towards at least some sort of degree or some sort of certification program that didn't cost you as much. And then you can still be moved out. You can still get a job. Yeah, it's not the job you would have got if you would have taken the trade school route, but you don't have the debt either. And you got to look past right now. Okay. And then the last part, and I'm not trying to be, everybody's dad or granddad, the old guy, telling you, watch out for the senior years. And I see this over and over again, the oops pregnancy thing. And this is that person that you've been dating and they see you about to move forward, and it's oops, I got pregnant. Oops, I got you pregnant. It can go either way. I'm not saying for men or women. I'm just saying, do not have a child until after you marry. Put that in your mind. I'm not going to have a kid until after I'm married. Because if the person that you're going to have a child with isn't good enough to marry, or isn't willing to marry you, then you don't want them in your child's life either. They're not good enough to be your child's parent, right? Okay, so whether it's father or mom, if they don't want to be with you, then they're not good enough to carry a child for or have a child with. And that's my opinion. So marry before you carry, or marry before you have someone carry, whatever way you guys need to do that. And so that will change your entire life, because you will be more discerning about who you're going to bring into your life and you're going to spend your life with. If that's the person you're going to marry, then that's what you do. But I say get your education out of the way first, and then before you even have kids. But just be careful of that, because I see it over and over again in a lot of the areas. That person who thinks they're going to get left behind will make that happen. I might cut this out. I'm going to think about that, because sometimes you get yourself in trouble with YouTube and these algorithms, and people tell, like, hey, don't be telling me what to do. Just talk about the software and athletic scholarship and things like that. But I want you guys to go past. If you're going to use AthleticSOS, I'm really trying to bring people into our system that are going to be thinking 10 years out. So if you're a senior right now, you're 17, maybe 18, what does it look like at 27, 28? What kind of position do you want to be in? And so the trade schools can be an option for you. I'm not saying they're not, but they're not the best option in most cases. And then all I'm telling you to do is go in, and I'm just going to compare them to JCs right now, because if you're going to go 4-year, I would say go, if we want to save on some debt and things like that, go to a JC first, get your first 2 years out, your general ed out at a really reduced cost. And if you can, if you're going to keep playing, maybe you can get a scholarship for your last 2 years, or at least you didn't pay as much to go to college, and you've got your general eds out, and then you can go to 4-year school for your last 2 years. That's really the smart way. I know everybody wants to do the whole college experience. Maybe your parents are going to help you pay for it anyway, and it's not a big deal. Maybe that's the life you want to lead, but it's still debt, and it's debt on your parents now. And I know for a lot of parents that are listening to this, I don't care what your peers are doing. I don't care how great their kids look like they're going to be doing. Think through the fact that you don't want to put yourself, because you're going to get ready to retire at some point yourself, and you don't want to put your kids through any kind of debt where they signed up for something that they can't get out of. Life changes really, really quickly. Now, if you're wealthy, go for it. Do whatever you need to do. But it's still, you're trying to instill the idea that you want to start ahead of the game, no matter what you're doing. So anyway, I probably made this way too long than it needed to be. But the other big piece is that for those of you, especially you high school athletes, those of you who think that you're going to go to a trade school, especially accredited, a really good trade school, and you don't have to study and do homework and go day after day after day, it is school. It is not a shortcut. It is school. These people want you to be have the ability. You're representing them when you leave. You're going to tell them where you came out of. And so one of the things you also want to look at if you're going to go to a trade school is look at not just their graduation and job placement rates, but our schools, our businesses in that field coming to the school to recruit kids. How many kids were recruited through people just coming in and saying, hey, if you went here, we know you got this thing down. We're going to hire you over here. And then after you do go in and you get the job and you're paying off that debt and everything, maybe look to go back later on and go back to school so you get to a supervisory program. Or if you're thinking about starting your own business later on, that's a great option for you guys. And I really encourage that you have in your head, at some point I'm going to go out, I'm going to learn this thing, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to start my own business. Well, that's cool too, but you're still going to have to know how to do the books. You're still going to have to know how to write correctly, right? And communicate with people if you want to get customers and learn how to market and do all of that kind of stuff. And you can learn that in a college environment just as well. And then the last piece I'm going to throw out here is really think about being a journeyman for somebody. Maybe go in your local neighborhood and there is a plumbing place or an air conditioning repair place or whatever it is you want to go and do. And then maybe you can just say, hey, I'll come work with you for you guys. I'm going down here to this college. I'll work for you guys for minimum wage. I'll work the front desk. What do you need me to do? I just want to learn this field if you guys don't mind. And maybe you'll go do it for free because you've got the college thing set up already. And maybe they'll be willing to take you on, show you the ropes, and maybe you can get all the stuff done at no cost. And I do know with the computer stuff, there's a bunch of online courses that you can take, and you can learn anything you want in computer. Now, you don't get the certification, which is the thing that I think is really important for businesses, but you can learn it, and you can start working in that area, and you can get the experience. And now if you go to look for a job, you can say, hey, I've done this many jobs at this thing, especially in the computer field. And you can go get certifications from Microsoft and Google and all of those different areas. You can go and learn and get certified there too. Still expensive, but not as expensive as going to college full-time or even going to trade schools, in my opinion. And if you get the right certification and you're in the right area in that business that's moving forward, that could be very beneficial for you too. So again, what we're saying is think as you move forward. What is going to put me in the best position, and where am I going to be 10 years from now? We're doing 10-minute increments. So if you're 15, where are you at 25? Even if you're 14 and you're in high school, you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you're going to be out of college in 10 years, regardless, because it's 4 years of high school and then 4 years of college, most likely, unless you're going on to get your graduate. But where are you going to be looking at in 10 years. So you're out of school for 2 years minimum, right? And you might be out for 4 years. And so what does that look like? Where's your life? Where are you sitting? What are you doing? What is the goal? And then that's what we want to try to get to. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you. Down below, I give you the code. I give you instructions for using the code. And there's a little brief video showing what AthleticSOS is. We have the best software for what we're trying to accomplish here, showing you all of your options and opportunities if you want to continue playing. And then I will say that in the version that I'm giving you now, you will not see the option to see trade schools and things like that. That is for our high schools and our some of the nonprofits that we work with, because they have the counselors in line there. Maybe later on in 2023, we're talking about adding that as an option for you guys later on. But for right now, use the software for what it does right now. And always best of luck to you guys. And whatever your future endeavors are, we're here to help you. If you want to continue playing, we're definitely a great route for you to do it. And take advantage of it. It's no cost to you guys. All right. Talk to you later.